Hey, everybody, this is Josh McKinney, and I just want to welcome you to episode 132 of the I Suck at Jiu-Jitsu show. And day 4 of the 7 days to suck less. Things are getting wild on these 7 days to suck less. It's craziness out here, guys. We have a lot going on. You guys will hear about it throughout the podcast. Don't forget, we have 40% off of the entire simplifyingjujitsu.com store. We have what are the other things we have? Oh yeah, at simplifyingjujitsu.com, we have the 3 lenses, and we have a great opportunity for you guys to support the show and give us a 5-star review. You guys will hear about all those things in just a second, so I won't dig into them. We'll just talk about this episode. This episode is what I call my ABCs of running a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school, running a martial arts school. And they're really, really simple things. They're really, really easy to do. They're really easy to implement. Something else, and obviously the title of this episode is the 4-hour work week for jiu-jitsu schools. And it is because that is really what I based this. That's what I based the ABCs of jiu-jitsu on, was how do I run a school while competing as an adult competitor, and while running a podcast, and while doing all these other things that I want to do. How do I run 2 schools like that? Well, one, I have somebody who runs one of my other schools and does a great job, but we both implement these ABCs of running a martial arts school. And I think that this will be helpful for you guys. To be honest, I could have done this episode earlier, but I just kept feeling like the ABCs of running a martial arts school should be a product and not just a free episode. But it's the 7 days to suck less, so screw it. It's a free episode, right? Hope you guys enjoy this one. Hope you get a lot out of it. We'll just go ahead and jump right into this one. Real quick, guys, before we get into this episode, I know you're expecting to hear about the 3 lenses totally free ebook. That's so exciting. And I will tell you guys that is a mid-roll ad. But I wanted to tell you something more important. You think that the 7 days to suck less are just about the 3 lenses and pushing out that ebook, but they are not. They're really about getting the podcast seen. And so what I'm going to ask you guys to do is something I've never really asked you guys to do. For how many listeners we have an embarrassing amount of reviews on both Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, and Spotify, all 3. We have an incredibly small amount of reviews. So if you guys listen on any 3 of those platforms, I would greatly appreciate if you gave me a 5-star review. Even if you don't do the ebook, please give me this 5-star review. It will only take a few seconds of your time, and it will be greatly appreciated and will help me and the podcast so much. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Give me those 5 stars and enjoy the episode. The ABCs of running a martial arts school. These are really, really simple, really, really important things that you need to do, you need to think about at some point when starting a martial arts school. So I thought it'd be more fun to go through the perspective that you are somebody who is close with me, and I show you this product of the ABCs of running a jiu-jitsu school. For those of you who don't know me well, I have like a million ideas. 999,000 of them have to do with jiu-jitsu. And so it just makes sense that I have a defined way that I try to help my friends that start a jiu-jitsu school. And I will say, I'll just give you one example of what this product and this set of ideas can do. I have a friend that started their jiu-jitsu school in the beginning, right before the pandemic started. So probably December, January, November, somewhere of 2019, January of 2020, somewhere in that time, which COVID actually killed a lot of jiu-jitsu schools. And I have a friend who I just talked to recently, right before actually filming this, recording this episode. And he started with this idea, with this set of game plans, and honestly listened to every single thing that I said, and now has 160 students in 2 years. And those were 2 years of pandemic. I don't believe that they have ever run any advertising either. And so that is what we're going to go through today. So for school owners that are listening to this and saying, man, I really need something, I'm going to make sure to point out what you guys need. You might find that there are a few things missing. Feel free to take notes on this one. This is going to be a little bit of a different episode, a little more structured than most I Suck at Jiu-Jitsu shows. So let's get into it. Let's look at the ABCs of running a martial arts school. So your ABCs are your automation/advertising, your branding, and your curriculum. Those are the three things that you need besides space to run a successful martial arts school. Of course, you need space. And I've talked about this before. Having the goal of low overhead in the beginning is really, really smart. How long could we survive if we didn't grow? Right. So I have $10,000 in the bank. My overhead is $2,000 a month. Well, I can survive for 5 months. Okay. That is how long I can survive with my jiu-jitsu school not making anything. That's how long my jiu-jitsu school can survive, right? With me making no money, technically, I can't survive. But a really easy way to define it, right, is making sure that we have low overhead. And we talked about that on one of our recent episodes on running a jiu-jitsu school. I think it's called Everything You Need to Know About Running a Jiu-Jitsu School. And there's a lot of information in that one. This is a little more structured. This is a little simpler. And I think it'd probably be more helpful to people. So the first place we're going to start on our ABCs is we're actually going to start with B. We're going to go BAC is how we're going to put our focus. This is just how I always go through it with people. And that's how I want this to feel, is that you're one of my buddies and you just ask me, hey, Josh, I really am going to need help with my jiu-jitsu school. And I go, give me 30 minutes and we will break down the ABCs of running a jiu-jitsu school. And we always start with branding. And I always start with this. What are your goals for this academy? Because not all jiu-jitsu goals are the same. Not all people care about having 300 students. Not all people care about having a beautiful facility. Not all people care about creating competitors. It just depends on who you are. So what are your goals for this academy? And we have some really easy ways, some really easy questions that you could ask yourself. The first one is, where do we want to go? For me, when I started asking myself these questions, I knew that competition was one of the most important things for me because I was a competitor at the time. I still am a competitor. But when I was opening my school, I knew it would be crazy if I decided like, okay, I'm going to open a school and the main focus is going to be self-defense. I don't focus on self-defense. I do more now than ever, but still, it's not my primary focus. Competition is my primary focus. So I wanted to create a jiu-jitsu school where the focus is being a school to get better at jiu-jitsu. That is what I want the focus in. And so everything after that for me, all of my different little, I'm trying to think like my different, even the way I run memberships, I didn't run them with contracts because how I wanted it to feel is, one, everybody who wants to be here is here. Everybody who is here wants to be here. And two, I thought it would be really important to make it feel like when you are signing up for the gym, we only have one price. You are signing up to be a part of the team. You're not signing up for a class. You are signing up to be a part of Head Nod. That is how I wanted my gym to feel. That was my goal. is to create a competition team. In order to do that, I had to create a team. So the second question to ask yourself to figure out goals of your academy is, who do we want to come with us? Who do I want to come with me? Obviously, I started the school with my dad. And so we were in this together. But who else? Who else are we going to bring in? We had guys who have been on the podcast like Justin Huff, super good guy who's been with us for a long time, really good jiu-jitsu. Yeah, we want him with us. That's important. I want to make sure that the gym is conducive to keep guys like that. That's important to me, right? I want to have a jiu-jitsu school. So pretty much all of my everything outside, all the other questions of the gym, they really come from your branding, like how you answer things, and you want to stay true to your brand. And so when we are looking, actually, I was scrolling down, but I actually already got ahead of myself and started talking about something else. But so another defining characteristic of branding is deciding what makes you better than your competitors. First, you have to define who your competitors are, right? In jiu-jitsu schools, a lot of times, and this is one of the most stupid and ignorant mindsets in jiu-jitsu, there are these threats when people start building academies in your area, right? Like I'm in the St. Louis area, I'm in Granite City, I'm on the Illinois side. And at first, really, I had two of like the first 4 or 5 gyms within an hour that were on the Illinois side. There's not many schools. And as things have grown, there's probably quadruple that now of schools in this area. And most school owners get so threatened by it because their jiu-jitsu is not good enough to compete with other teams, and their business is not good enough to compete with other teams. The problem here is thinking that Gracie Baja moving 5 minutes down the street from you should affect you in any negative way. It really shouldn't. If you have a good product, if you have a good brand, if you have a good team, people aren't going to leave your team to go to the new school that's 5 minutes down the road. Now, let's use, for instance, specifically Gracie Baja. Let's say they add their new way of advertising, their way of running a jiu-jitsu school, and they create more people doing jiu-jitsu. If you've ran a jiu-jitsu school for any amount of time, you know people are going to leave. They're creating more people doing jiu-jitsu, and those people are now going to leave. More interest just in general in jiu-jitsu. There are more people to compete against for my guys. And not only that, this is the most important part of this whole statement. Jiu-jitsu schools are not your only competitors if you run a jiu-jitsu school. We are competing with CrossFit, yoga, rock climbing, any hobby. We're competing with bars, to be honest. How many students do you lose to just going out and partying? How many students do you lose to all these other things? Those are what we are competing against. So the question now, what makes you better than your competitors? It doesn't just have to be what makes your jiu-jitsu better than your competitors, because that's where people focus. They say, oh, well, we have a world champion at our school. We'll advertise that and everyone's going to care. Nobody cares. How many world championships are there in jiu-jitsu? Yes, guys that are the realists know what the real world championships are, but somebody brand new, they don't care. They don't care if you've won a local Naga. They just care that jiu-jitsu is fun. They just care that they enjoy it. They just care that it can help them accomplish things. So for me, when I was making my brand and I was trying to figure out, okay, what do we care about? I was looking for a specific person, and I still do. I really care that I'm getting lifers at my school. I don't care if I'm getting one a month, but if I'm getting people that they go, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to sell out to. One, it doesn't lower the standard of my mats. Okay. So it's not uncommon that you'll come. I think like last Monday, I went to Head Nod and my school, and there were 40 people on the mat and there were 4 white belts. So there were 40 people on the mat. There were 36 colored belts on the mat. I've had a gym for 6 years. How does that happen? Do I promote people too fast? No, most of these people are competing and doing well, and even in the top 10 in their division in tournaments. It's just you get people that commit. If somebody just stays at a gym and trains consistently for 3 years, they're going to be good. But your brand defines on whether or not people are going to do that. For me, the goal was to keep people coming in for a long period of time and keep people that I like coming in for a long period of time. The revolving door is the way other people run their schools. Okay, we're going to have a good advertising program and we'll gain 20 a month and we'll lose 10, right? Still, you're going positive 10. It is a great way to run a jiu-jitsu business. It takes more work though. Another part of my brand, kind of, and I talk about this sometimes, but I really built my business off of the book, The 4 Hour Workweek, my jiu-jitsu business. That is when I figured out how to make it run better, was when I stopped wasting time on things that didn't need my time and then focused 100% of my time on things that did need my time. And for me, for years, the thing that needed my time was the technical aspect of my gym. Guess what? There's a point now where this doesn't matter as much. Why? Because the process, the technical aspect of my gym has gotten up so much higher. So I need to make a pivot. My brand needs to change, or at least my role needs to change in this brand. Though now the new goal is keeping these guys together and getting everybody good so fast. So what do I need to focus on now? Instead of teaching every technique class, I have so many good coaches now, so many guys that there's not much difference when they're teaching versus when I'm teaching. You're getting about the same stuff, maybe a little less dad jokes and a little less Asian, but besides that, you're getting the same stuff. What is important for me now? If remember, my goal is to create competitors, is to create competition team. Well, now I have this group of leaders. That is my new focus at my gym, right? But it all comes from those original questions of what am I here for? What are we trying to accomplish? That is where my role, that is where everything else that we're going to do in running our jiu-jitsu school comes from. Okay. And so now with our brand, let's think of some simple things. What do you want your place to be called? Maybe you already have a name for your gym. What do you want that name to mean? To a lot of people, to St. Louis Jiu-Jitsu, I think people would look at my jiu-jitsu school and say, okay, Josh's gym is about being tough. It's about training hard, right? That's what my brand has become. That's what Head Nod is. These guys train really hard. I hear people talk about that. And it's really, really a lot of it has to do with the fact that our open mats are days that we train really hard. And so when people come in from other gyms, that's really what they're seeing. But I think we do. We have a lot of really committed people that train really hard. And that is a defining characteristic of my brand. If you come in, you're coming in to, be a part of the team and to train hard, right? So that is what the name of your jiu-jitsu school should reflect, especially if you're listening to this without a name yet. It should kind of reflect what you want to accomplish. But in truth, you are the one who makes the name matter. How you run your gym is going to be how that brand is perceived to the jiu-jitsu community in your area and really just the community in your area. If your gym is known for having a bunch of guys that are, you're in a small town and all of the guys that train at your gym are considered the jerks of the town, your gym is going to be defined as that. So we've got to be careful in our brand, who we're letting into our gym, who we're not letting into our gym, and just how we're focusing on our gym. Let's look at the A in the ABCs. And this is, I think, for most people, why they're listening to this episode. And it is the most important part, in my opinion. So the A is for automation. Okay. We're not going to talk advertising. The thing about advertising, it would need an entire episode all to itself. And I think it would be better done with an advertising expert that just isn't a jiu-jitsu advertising expert, just an advertising expert in general. If you guys know anybody, of course they have to do jiu-jitsu to be on the show. I never just have people that don't train. But if you know anybody that would be willing to be on the show and talk advertising, that is good at it, I would love to hear from them. I'd love to do an episode with them. Hey guys, I just wanted to interrupt this episode and tell you about something really exciting that we have going on at simplifyingjujitsu.com for this week only, the 7 days to suck less. We are doing 40% off of everything. The entire store at simplifyingjujitsu.com. We are selling everything for 40% off. And all you have to do is use promo code 7 days. That is the number 7 DAYS. Use promo code 7 days, celebrate the 7 days to suck less, and you can get any product that you want on simplifyingjujitsu.com for 40% off. And that's not including that free ebook that you really need to have already, the 3 lenses. So that's what we have going on for you guys. Hope you guys head over to simplifyingjujitsu.com and use promo code 7 days. Remember, that is the number 7 DAYS, and enjoy 40% off the entire store. Let's celebrate, guys. Back to the episode. But we're going to focus on automation. Okay. So the first part of automation, this is when I started to really make changes to my gym that worked. They started with student management and billing. I know that sounds crazy. For a long time, I had a list of names and I had a list of credit card information, and they got charged at whatever the first of each month on I forget what I was using, but I was using just a really simple billing software, had nothing to do with martial arts or anything like that. And in 2017, maybe 2018, might have been 2018, but it was definitely at the Worlds. I met my buddy, Mark Vives. We were talking and he goes, "Hey, do you know the guys at Kicksite?" And I go, "No, I don't know the guys at Kicksite." And I will say, Kicksite does not sponsor the podcast, but they do sponsor me as a competitor. And so I will go full disclosure on that and let you guys know this. But like I said, I've been working with these guys for a very long time, and I just got a sponsorship with them like a month ago. But I got a demo with them, got a meeting with them. What's really interesting is I actually got it for like 3 months or maybe 2 months. And I was like, I felt like it was going to be a lot of work to transition everything over. And I just couldn't commit to doing it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to cancel. And I sent the email to cancel. I get a call on my phone from Jason Neef, who is the owner of the business. And we just talked for a little bit, and he asked me what they could do better. And, had a long enough conversation with the guy. And I go, okay, I didn't even really give them a fair chance. I've got to try. And so I did. I added all my students to their student management, and then I did their billing softwares too. And all of a sudden, the simplicity in my gym just skyrocketed. It became so much easier to sign up and to get rid of students, to pause students, to reactivate students. It got so easy to add a new credit card. Most of the time, I was spending so much time on delinquencies. And now I spend almost no time on delinquencies, because if your card is delinquent, you get an email and it says, "Hey, press this button and you can add your new card." Or if it was just a money thing, put money in your account and it'll come out on this day. And so it's just so easy. There's so much automation. And so something though, if you guys decided to not use Kicksite, if you did use Kicksite, you should go to kicksite.com/Josh McKinney, and they'll give you a free demo of Kicksite. You won't have to put in your credit card. You don't have to do anything. They just give you a free demo, show you how it works. And I will tell you this, unless you want to switch softwares, don't schedule that demo, because their software is just that much better than everybody else's. You're going to want to sign up for it. So like I said, I use that, but here's some things that if you decided to not go to Kicksite, that I would really make sure that you should have for your automation and your billing software and your student management. First is something that tracks the number of students. Most gyms, I will say, "How many guys do you have?" And they will say, about 50, about 60. And I think for most people, that is a sticking point in jiu-jitsu, is that 50. It's really 30 to 60. Usually very few schools aren't making a little money or paying all their bills with 30 students, right? Once you have 30, you can most likely pay all your bills, depending on what you are charging. If you're not, I think you're charging too little. you should be able to at least not have to pay money to have a 30-person school, right? Or put money into your business to have a 30-person school. Then that 30 to 60 range is a sticking point for everybody. And the reason is, in my opinion, is because there are certain things that you can get away with, certain really inefficiencies that you can have in your jiu-jitsu business that don't really rear their head until 50 to 60 people. When you have 30 people and you deal with 3 delinquencies a month, that's not that bad. But when you have 60 and then you deal with 6 a month, that's getting to be a lot. And then you have all these people trying to contact you, and some want their credit cards to come out on different dates. And it's just a lot of things. Someone wants to cancel all those things. When you don't have something that tracks your number of students, all those things, it kind of makes it hard to run a jiu-jitsu school. The second thing is something that shows your profits and losses. It is so important to know how much money you're making or how much money you're losing. Then you're able to find, okay, when I run advertising this way, I make more money. So I'm going to put my focus in that, right? The next thing is something that allows you to communicate with your students. Of course, all these things that I'm naming off are things that Kicksite does. The communication, I can send text message, I can send an email to any or all of my students. Right now, I could send one to just my parents of kids, my parents of teens, my kids, my adults with a certain belt level. There's so many different ways. There's so many different ways I can use this. And then also, this isn't a necessity, but I think it's really, really nice is if your student management system has a way to sign waivers, right? Everything kind of being in the same space. And I'm going to talk to you guys in just a second about why this is so important when we move on to forms. But everything kind of congregating to the same space, all your waivers, all your everything, I think it's just more efficient. There was a while that I had a way to track my number of students, a way to show my profits and losses, a way to communicate with my students, and a way to sign waivers. And they were all separate things. It was like a Frankenstein, right? And I thought, hey, it's great the way it is, until I started to really utilize Kicksite more. And then I go, okay, well, it's much easier if they just, all these things fall in the same place, right? So now let's look at forms, okay? So forms are probably the most important part. Second most important part. Forms and student management software kind of go hand in hand. But all a form is a place to get information, okay? For most schools, most of the problem is just bringing in people. There are some really simple, really cheap or free things that you could be doing to bring in new people. Okay. It just takes a little bit of focus, and it's going to start with a form. Okay. A form is a way to collect information. So when you sign up for my free ebook, The 3 Lenses, you are filling out a form, right? I am giving you that information, and you are giving me a way to contact you. The whole reasoning behind this is now I have a way to communicate with somebody that is interested in what I'm doing, is interested in my products, is interested in my podcast. With a jiu-jitsu school, interested in jiu-jitsu, interested in self-defense, interested in weight loss, something like that. But we create a form for a specific program, right? We can advertise this for free on social media. If you put focus into your social media, if you make sure to post enough, people view what you post, and then you start to post your form and you say, hey, we're giving away a trial, whether it is free. I don't do free trials anymore. I am I'm not a free trial person anymore. Just go all paid and really short ones. But that's just because of my brand, right? My brand is trying to find people that come in on day one and they're willing to do jiu-jitsu for the rest of their life. That's who I care about. So my trial is only 3 days. I usually do $20 for 3 days, and then $5 if we're running a deal on the trial. But I stopped doing free ones. When I stopped doing free ones, yes, I did get less people to come in, but the people that do come in are always, like, percentage wise, are just more serious about signing up. They've already put in money. And guess what? Since they signed that form through Kicksite, through my website, headnothq.com. You guys could look that up. Kicksite runs my website too. So you go out and fill out that form on my website. Kicksite will charge you $5. Here is the best part. Let's say you want to sign up. I already have your credit card. Oh, you want to sign up, John? Let me press 2 buttons. And now you are monthly reoccurring at my school. You did most of the work yourself. That is what forms do, right? Is you get them into a trial, their trial starts, it ends, and then we attempt to close, right? We attempt to sell them on jiu-jitsu. If they sign up, we use our curriculum, which is what we're going to talk about in just a second, to keep them as a student for life. But if they don't, then that's not the end of it. If you haven't bought something from me, but I still have your name on my list, I still have your confirmation, I still have all your things. This is something we haven't done at our school yet. We're going to start. I think we're going to start. It is having a monthly newsletter. So I can put all those people who signed up for the gym and signed up for the gym and didn't end up signing up for monthly recurring or even quit the gym, but I put them all into an email list. And all that email list is things that are going on at Head Not HQ. Maybe I'm doing it twice a month, and you just, whether you read it, whether you don't, you're getting information from me. You see it. Head Not HQ is not an irrelevant thought to you. There are still things happening. You click on it and you go, oh, wow, look at all these kids that competed and all these adults that competed, and look at this outing that they had, and look at this whatever that they had. But then one day, maybe in November, I say, hey, November 1st, guess what? We're doing a Black Friday special. Anyone who ... gets this for ... Who do I send that out to? Well, I send that out to the list of people that I've been messaging that enjoy hearing from me. They enjoy hearing about the gym. They just haven't committed to joining the team yet. They haven't committed to signing up yet, right? They even came for their trial, but it was just that commitment. It didn't click yet. Those are going to be the people that I am trying to sell my next thing, right? I've created this list, just like anyone who is on the Simplifying Jiu-Jitsu email list. Like, I send you guys lists, I send you guys ideas, I send you information, I send you more stuff for free than like any cool jiu-jitsu email list that I know of, right? And then if I ever try to sell something, people are so excited to buy it. They're so like, yeah, well, everything that this guy gives me for free is great. So why wouldn't what he's trying to give me now be good, right? Why wouldn't it not be great, especially if he's willing to try to sell it? You create that trust. Some people, it's like you try to date. You don't just walk up to somebody and go like, hey, do you want to marry me? It's like, no, it takes a long time. It takes connection. It takes a lot of time seeing these people and a lot of times getting them to trust you. And then it takes a relationship and then, whatever. And then you get married, right? But just like with a sale, you don't go in and just walk up and try to sell somebody. You give them stuff. You give them things for free. So for some of us, it may be a free class. It may be a free private lesson. I'll say this, if you have the time to do it, everybody I've ever talked to says that the free 30-minute private lesson is the best selling tactic for martial arts school. But for me, since I'm trying the 4-hour workweek version, that's not really what my goal is. My goal isn't to sign up everybody. I just don't do it, right? There are phases that I might try, but as of right now, it's just not what I'm doing. When you think that way, wait, let me make sure I'm on the right thing here. Yes, I am good. But yeah, when we think that way, when we think about how we are going to bring in people, how we're going to give them things for free, how we're going to make them enjoy our gym and then get them to sign up, those are the people that you keep for life. And it's just so much more efficient to get people to keep for life. Let's move on to, I guess we're still on advertising. So this is something or on automation. I guess we can touch on. Now, we shouldn't touch on advertising. It's honestly, there's no way that I could make it not super long. Eventually we'll do one on advertising, I swear. But for right now, just focused on the automation. So remember, if you guys are interested in that automation, I highly recommend Kicksite. I highly recommend using them for their your website and your student management software. It's just so efficient. Something I didn't talk about is that they have video libraries there too. So if you want to create your own online jiu-jitsu school in your jiu-jitsu school, you are able to, and it's very easy. And only your students that you want to have access to the online school will have access to it. So you could make videos for only your blue belts or only your black belts or only whatever, right? Just can't stress this enough. Kicksite.com/Josh McKinney, and you will be able to get a free demo. And I just can't promise you guys enough. You will not be disappointed in it. This episode is brought to you by simplifyingjujitsu.com and the all-new 3 Lenses ebook written by yours truly. So we all agree that jiu-jitsu learning is not the same for everyone. Some people learn differently. We all agree on this, but it seems to me like nobody has ever focused on defining the way people learn jiu-jitsu. And I have found over the last 4 years 3 styles of learning jiu-jitsu, and they are all coupled with specific training method, specific mentalities, and specific routines. And so what you will be able to do with the 3 lenses is you will get to take a really short quiz and learn about where you learn jiu-jitsu, how you learn jiu-jitsu, and how you learn jiu-jitsu most effectively. And with that information, you're going to be able to develop your own training method. You're going to be able to develop your own schedule, your own routine, and you are even going to be able to use training methods that people from other lenses, other perspectives use. This is a completely innovative book. It's a completely new book, and it is completely free. Again, it is only available at simplifyingjujitsu.com. Be sure to jump on simplifyingjujitsu.com and get your free copy of the 3 lenses. Back to the show. Now let's look at curriculum. I mean, you think that's pretty much all I talk about is is curriculum. That's all we talk about is ideas of jiu-jitsu and teaching jiu-jitsu. And so what we're going to say is like the idea here isn't to critique the curriculum that you already have. It's only to make you understand that your curriculum is your product. Think of it as such. If curriculum is your product, then it should have one main goal, and that goal should be to keep people coming back. If your goal is to get people better at jiu-jitsu, the way to do it is to keep them coming back. If your goal is to create better competitors, keep them coming back. To get people to lose weight, keep them coming back. No matter what, one goal with curriculum of jiu-jitsu, it should be something that is enjoyable enough that gets people to want to come back, because without consistency, you can't run a good jiu-jitsu school and people can't get better at jiu-jitsu. So we'll look with curriculum at the 3, oh gosh, I guess they're 4 Ps. Man, it was a while ago that I wrote all this stuff. When I say a while ago, it's like 2 months ago, but I guess I added a 4th P. Yeah, we'll call it 3 Ps. Okay, so the first P is the programs. So what classes are you offering, and are they all conducive to your goals? These are more questions for people that already have like classes, right? Are your classes conducive to your goals, right? If you want to, I'll make sure to make this statement first. The best way to hate your business is to find customers that you don't like or get along with. That is the best way to hate your jiu-jitsu school, is to have customers that you hate. Okay. I see a lot of schools have this. A lot of owners that I talk to have this. Honestly, I don't think, one of my students even said this to me the other day. He just looked at me and he goes, "Hey, is there anybody that trains at our gym that you don't like?" And I was like, "Man, I don't think so." I mean, there are people that can just wear me down with asking a lot of questions and stuff, but like an actual person that trains at our gym that I don't like. Uh, no, I don't think there is. And that is such a unique thing, especially for having 200 students. That is such a unique thing. And it's something I love. It's something that makes me excited to get to go to work every day. Remember, we are starting a jiu-jitsu school because we love jiu-jitsu and we feel that we are able to teach it. If you want to start a business and make a lot of money, I'm not saying you can't make money in a jiu-jitsu school. You definitely can. My coach does super well with his jiu-jitsu school, but I don't know many other people that do better, right? I think that those are like the top of the top, the guys that make a lot. So if your only goal, if your primary goal, like when I was asking about your branding and you were like, yeah, primary goal, make a ton of money, then I think you should probably start something that's not a jiu-jitsu school. You should start a different business. But if your goal is to do something you love, then make sure that you start your jiu-jitsu school, but make sure that you love your customers. Uh, how do I know what customers I'll even love? Well, you start to ask people, you start to look at different ways to sign people up. Maybe you're in an area that, like I kind of bashed free memberships for a second. Maybe you're in an area that free memberships bring in the type of people that you want to be around. They bring in the type of people that you want to use and that you want to help grow your school. Maybe though, maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you are creating different programs and different ideas, and then you're bringing in people that you don't like. Maybe you hate the MMA fighters at your gym. You don't even like teaching the MMA program. And they're like 5 guys. You should just freaking cancel it. You should get rid of it. This is actually a note in my ABCs of running a martial arts school. And it says this: if you have a class that you hate, cancel it. It is your school. Why do something you hate? That doesn't make sense. It is your school. Yeah, but all jiu-jitsu schools have to have a big kids program. No, not true. That is a lie. My jiu-jitsu coach, like I said, has one of the biggest jiu-jitsu programs that I've ever seen. He had a kids program for like 2 months. And he's like, okay, this isn't it for me. This isn't what I like. Never put one back again. Has one of the most successful martial arts schools, probably in the Midwest, maybe in the country. You look at that and you go, okay, well, then what people tell me about how it has to be with kids, it doesn't have to be with kids. Now, you don't have to have adults. If you hate adults, if you like just teaching kids jujitsu, my I know multiple people, but I think to my buddy Owen, and he has a school probably like 30-40 minutes away from me. And when I talk to people about their school, they're like, yeah, they have like a ton of kids. They have an adult program, but their school is built on kids. They say you go in there and it is popping. There are tons of kids, tons of families. The music is right. They built their brand incredibly well. You see that. You see people do that. And then, well, if Owen said, well, I just wanted to have more adults, and then he stops putting his focus on his kids, what he's built and what he loves, and he starts trying to focus on adults. Maybe it works, but for a lot of people, you lose the focus of the reason you're there. You lose the focus of what you love. So now let's look to, and this is kind of like, this is a part of how you're bringing in people and who you're bringing in, is your pricing. What do you want to charge? What are the charges? What do people charge in your area? What other schools charge? What do people make in your area? I live in an area that if I were to charge the amount that a lot of schools charge, like I think, just depending on where you're at, I know a lot of like bigger areas that charge in like the $200 per month range, just busier cities. And it's because rent is higher and the cost of living is just higher. If I tried to charge $200, I don't think anybody would be able to sign up at my gym. I mean, of course, I would have people that would stay, but I'm saying new people, I don't think I would get a lot of people. I've noticed that there are certain price ranges that I try to charge, and I actually start turning people away. That doesn't happen very often. Like you've got to find the price point that fits you best, though. It can't just be, okay, what price can everybody pay? Because what price can everybody pay might not put enough money in your pocket, might not let you grow your school, right? Maybe you only have room for 50 people, and 50 people at $50 versus 50 people at $150 is a huge difference, even though it's the same amount of people. Next question. Do you want to give out discounts? Do you want to give out military, police, firefighter discounts? Again, these things should fit your brand. If you have an anti-police brand or your jiu-jitsu school, giving out police membership, police discounts probably doesn't make a lot of sense. If you are trying to make your brand very family friendly, maybe you do something like, hey, police officers can train, but their families train for free. And so that would, and they have to pay, but their families get in for free. And do something like that. You just try to build your pricing, you build your programs, you build all of your things around your brand. Your brand should define what the feel is of the school, what it's the kids say now, the vibe is of the school. That's what your brand should be. And now let's finish with the best part of this whole thing in running a jiu-jitsu school, in my opinion. This is always my favorite part because a lot of times I'll go through the whole curriculum, people love it. But then we get to the last P, and it's actually two P's. It's politics and partnerships. Obviously, you guys know that politics in jiu-jitsu can be a problem. They can be something that ruin jiu-jitsu schools. They can bleed into everything else too. So can a bad partnerships though. So can signing up to get in with somebody that I shouldn't be partnered with. So first thing with politics and partnerships, make sure your politics and your partnerships line up with your goals, which we defined in the very beginning, your brand, which we also defined, and your morals. That is important. You don't want to do something that compromises your morals. So here's an example. Let's say that you are a huge anti-steroid guy and you think there's no room for it in jiu-jitsu and it is the biggest, most negative thing in the world. And you say, okay, well, I'm going to partner with this guy. I'm going to partner with old Flex Wheeler. And he is jacked and obviously on steroids, big steroid user. And I partner with him. Could you see how 3, 4, 5 years from now, when we're building competitors and I am very anti-steroid still, and this guy is not, how that could be a conflict of interest, especially when you think about morals, when that is why I'm thinking this way. It's not preference. This is because I believe it's wrong, right? That's why I'm doing this. So the example I give in the notes is if you're trying to have a family-friendly brand and the head of your affiliation is going on racist rants on Facebook, you should probably leave. His affiliation doesn't fit your mission, right? When I'm talking about that, I mean affiliation like I'm Head Nod HQ, but I'm affiliated with TAC Team, right? So if you start to feel like your affiliation doesn't represent you and your morals and your brand very well, then you probably shouldn't be tied to that. So next point, don't partner with somebody you don't fully know or fully trust. So often we get a good vibe and we go, oh yeah, this is the guy. Let's partner together. But a business partnership is like a marriage. Literally, there are lawyers to break up. There are splitting things in half. There are some really bad stuff that goes on with a partnership. Being really smart up front and just going, okay, I'm either not going to partner with somebody or I'm just going to be really, really careful about who I partner with. It's so much easier if you do these things early on. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you pay for them. Now let's look at, man, having to scroll down is just a drag. Okay. Every partnership should be a win-win. Make sure you specifically, specifically what benefit you get and what benefit your partner gets. So if you are going to partner, and I know that this is a common practice in starting a jiu-jitsu school, it wasn't for me. I guess it was. My dad and I partnered together, but it was different because he's my dad. But I just know a lot of people, they come up with somebody and they know him really well and they go, okay, I want to partner with this person. Make sure that the partnership is a win-win. Okay. Anytime you are, even when it's the student coach relationship, you should be trying to think win-win for everything. How do we both win? How do we both benefit from this? And you make sure you know what benefit you get and what benefit your partner gets. And most importantly, if you are going to partner with somebody for jiu-jitsu, if you're going to partner with somebody for any business, have a really, really, really good contract. Make sure that it is defined and you both understand it, because partnership contracts don't matter until you decide to dissolve the partnership. I mean, of course, there are duties in them and things like that, but the times that those things get brought back are years later when it is time to dissolve the partnership, because whatever bad happens and it doesn't work out, right? Guess what happens then? We dissolve the partnership, and then whoever was smarter in the beginning about that contract that they signed is going to benefit. That's what you got to make sure of. You got to go into these plans, especially when it comes to having a partner, having a gym, and you've got to make decisions early. You've got to define your decisions. You got to define what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish. And of course, you're going to make pivots too, but you need to make your decisions as early as possible. And that is, I think, no, I better not leave you with just that. This is something that I always will leave my people with. I really like. I think it's important to remember. Okay, so you're starting a jiu-jitsu school. A lot of them fail. It's hard to do. It's mentally draining. It's physically draining. It is a very tough thing to have a jiu-jitsu school. Maybe you should go in with the same mentality that you went into starting jiu-jitsu. You go in with a white belt mentality, but with a black belt level of learning. That's what separates a good black belt from a white belt, is their ability. Obviously, they have skills already, but their ability to learn and add new stuff is always going to be better than a white belt. Take that mindset. Take that mindset of, I am going to accomplish this. I'm going to learn, and apply it to your jiu-jitsu business. The same things that you found success with in jiu-jitsu, you will find success with in your business when it comes to learning, when it comes to not taking yourself too seriously. And lastly, just a little more on the politics and partnerships. Be really careful about who you associate with in jiu-jitsu. There are a lot of bad people. There are a lot of people who just don't have the same morals that you do. Make sure if you were partnered with somebody that you guys, that your ideas, your morals, they line up. I have too many friends that have built up even a jiu-jitsu school and have partnered, but it's been a very handshake partnership, and then they get screwed over later on. Don't do that. Try your best to think ahead. Try your best to look at worst case scenario. And back to what we were saying earlier, don't be a part of affiliation. Don't be tied to schools that you don't trust and you don't love, and that you don't think morally are who you should be with. Man, those things, they matter so much more than anything else. They just seem to be so important, is not having bad partners, not having bad relationships. And that's what I'll leave you guys with today, is be careful who you partner with. Come in with a black belt mentality. listen to this episode as many times as you need. It's a lot of information on it. Uh, eventually I'll try to do a product for this, for the ABCs of running a jiu-jitsu school, because I have a lot more information that we could add. But it's kind of hard, because I just got done with the how to train jiu-jitsu, and I just got done with the 3 lenses. I'm going to need a good break. And then I think I'm going to come back with some really conceptual jiu-jitsu stuff in like 3 months. That'll probably be the next stuff I start to come out with. But it's not all finished yet. So we might be a while, unless I could, of course, get somebody else to run the ABCs of jiu-jitsu. That might be efficient. That might be what I need to do. I don't know. I'm just talking at this point. We're doing these 7 days. The 7 episodes. There are days that I record like multiple episodes in a day. And at the end of them, anytime I do that, at the end of them, I start to drag, and I can feel it right here, starting to drag. So I guess I'll just pull the plug on it. You guys have a great day. And that is the episode. We are just cruising through on the 7 days to suck less. I hope you guys are enjoying these. I really did enjoy putting them together for you guys. It was a lot of work, but I think it was worth it. It really, for me, it was fun. It was fun to lock myself in a room for a week and just see what jiu-jitsu content I could get out of it. I love doing like that kind of stuff. And it was a blast. And like I said on this episode, Kicksite didn't sponsor this episode, but I want to make sure to share a link with you guys in the description. If their product is something that interests you, please use that link so they know that I sent you. But understand, this episode is not sponsored by Kicksite. That's just something that they're just a really good company, and I want to share them with you guys. Yeah, that's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys really can either get inspired to run a martial arts school, or this inspires you to fix some of the holes in the martial arts school that you already run. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope it was fun for you guys. Mostly, I hope it was informative for you guys. And I hope that this episode helps you suck just a little bit less at running a jiu-jitsu school. Have a great day, guys. So on that music change, I just thought that since the episode is over and you are still here, you're wanting more content. And I just want to make sure I share with you all the places that you can find me and the content that I produce. Most of the things that I make will be at simplifyingjujitsu.com. This is a company that I started just a few years ago with my dad and one of my brown belts at the time. And we have been trying to learn to simplify jiu-jitsu and create great, simple jiu-jitsu content. And you can always go to simplifyingjujitsu.com to see what we are up to in the content creation realm. Speaking of content creation, you can go to simplifyingjujitsu.com and get a free copy of my ebook, The 3 Lenses. This ebook is going to be how to create a schedule for yourself to progress at jiu-jitsu using the training methods you enjoy and focusing on jiu-jitsu in a way that you enjoy. Also, besides the podcast, if you ever want to get a hold of me, you can always send me an email, josh@simplifyingjujitsu.com. I try to send out emails and keep you guys up to date with what we have going on the show and at simplifyingjujitsu.com. But it also is really great because it's an avenue for you guys to communicate with me. I get to get so much new content for episodes by things that people have emailed me. So if you ever have an idea for a show or a guest that you might want me to interview, even though I do less of those now, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear about a guest or an idea for a show, a topic that you would like to hear, or maybe something that you have been experimenting with that I could experiment with too, because I do like to human guinea pig a lot of the times, and and try to adapt and use whatever methods I'm hearing about and I'm seeing other people use. And so I'm really happy that you guys stayed for this episode. I'm really happy that you guys at least seem to be enjoying the show. Make sure to sign up for my 3 Lenses ebook so you guys can get on the email list and you hear more about what we have going on at the I Suck at Jiu-Jitsu show and simplifyingjujitsu.com. Have a great rest of your day, guys.